This is Frog Valley Tropical Food Farm, and I want to do a video on providing plant nutrients through Rhizosphere engineering so that plants can get their nutrients on their own. And most of the nutrients and plant beneficial compounds, organic compounds, are supplied in the root zone, the rhizosphere. So all the latest science that I've been able to see points to manipulating the rhizosphere of the plant to provide the nutrients your fruit trees need, and nothing more. That's all you have to do. Hello, bird people. Humans fail to understand that in order to engineer the rhizosphere of the tree, you need to stay off the soil. Practice soil health. But I know in Florida, the #1 cause of plant disease and lack of production is due to compaction. Mowing the lawn and clearing the plants from around your tree just causes compaction. Rain caused compaction and human caused compaction. So the best way to engineer the soil, the rhizosphere for your plant, is with just staying off of it and leaving it alone. For some reason, our farming practices is all about domination, dominating the soil and dominating the plant. The plant's nutrient requirements change second by second. So to just say that a plant, that you know what the plant needs at any given second is impossible to do, except by the microbial life in the soil around the root zone. All the minerals and everything are already here. We just have to unlock the biology, put the biology back into the soil. The natural way to do that is with clean manures and urine and living roots. So what the nature puts in on your soil, what nature grows by itself, which is all this cover crop, shouldn't be manipulated and raked up and scraped off and run over and pulled away. You're always going to need to do something to try to fix that. It's disturbed. It's a highly disturbed soil at that point. Highly disturbed. People want to get in there and, check the tree and check the water and check the everything. But as long as you have a biodiverse, uncompacted soil, you probably don't really need much more. So small amounts of manure would be my guess. You can make compost if you know how to make compost. I think compost is like a beginner thing, so I don't go into it a lot. And if you're listening to this channel, you probably already know that. So I know what compost is. I make it. I've made it for years, and I know how to make it. But I do also know that the best compost is the one that just gets thrown on the ground in small amounts and left to age. That's the one that turns into soil the quickest. that's why, like, cows walking through here and crapping is ideal for plants. I mean, that's how the biology has worked for hundreds of thousands of years. I read on TFF, they were like talking about calcium, and it's like, for plant trees that are acid lover or not acid lovers, it's just ridiculous to think that you're controlling the pH of the soil. The rhizosphere of the plant controls the pH for the plant, and it doesn't need any help from us. They know all this stuff now. It's like, I mean, they know this. They know this stuff. Yeah, Rhizosphere engineering. What's that, a little dove? No, it's a mockingbird. What are you doing, getting bugs? It's very cold. Looks like it is in the deep grass. That's the thing, when you have this living natural system that you stay off of, all kinds of wildlife move into it, and it doesn't really balance itself out for a few years. So you can get a whole swarm of snails come by, and a whole bunch of rats come by, and then eventually the birds of prey and the other forms of biology balance it all out so that it all like works together to help grow your plants. They all poop. It's all biology. It's all molecules, different molecules. That's what it comes down to. You need the diversity. You need all the diversity. The only way to get all the diversity is to let nature be in charge, really. I mean, that's kind of the only way to do it. And then add your plants, and you can manipulate the soil via like handfuls of good soil from your healthiest fruit tree sprinkled around. You know, there's so many microbes in a tablespoon of soil. You just have to kind of dust it, throw it on the tree. That's all you have to do. And everything in small amounts. People try to like force their ways onto me to force their ways onto my system. Like going in there and naming or getting name tags for all the freaking trees. Why? When they fruit, you'll know what it is. And by going in there and disturbing the soil, you have a chance of like destroying the health of the soil and the health of your rhizosphere. Nature will engineer your rhizosphere eventually for your plant. I think all you need to do is start shoving plants into the ground and staying off of it. That's like staying off of it. Do not disturb is like crucial. That's like so important. You don't have to really water here. I think I've shown that. We get fruit. We get quite a bit of fruit. It's a young farm. It's still growing. I've been planting seeds. Last year I planted like 700 seeds. The year before I planted like 700 seeds. Fruit tree seeds. Not counting vegetables. But they take time. especially the Garcinias. Everyone knows how slow growing they are. But I have found ways to speed up different fruit trees. They like to be planted into like Caesar weed, or next to ginger, or in combination with a bunch of other trees and plants. That's what they like. Any one of these look like they're like separated? No, it's a living root and fungi and biology system. It's a one continuous rhizosphere. Everything is connected. Now, if you started mowing on this in between the trees, because people like to see each and every single tree so that they can see how many trees they are, trust me, I have thousands of trees here. I don't feel the need to do that. I don't even look at my jaboticabas or anything like that ever in my videos. I just don't feel a need to do that. But for some reason, people need to, I don't know, equate quantity with superiority, or who has the largest collection, along with their other domination tactics, which is all that is. It's domination. Trying to dominate nature, which is what's led to our global pollution problem. For sure in Florida, it's a problem. People hate this, but we're the only ones in the neighborhood that don't have any standing water. Because the soil hydrology is good here. I believe our root system lifts up above the water during times of excessive rain. It would have to. I mean, their roots are pumping oxygen into the ground also. I know that the water table is like 2 inches below the soil line, soil surface, a lot of times during the summer, 4 months on end. So it would have to do that. There's so many things that we just do not know, and try to like push studies that were done, controlled studies that were done, and disregard all of nature and all the other stuff. I mean, the citrus industry is so like blind to the fact that their management of the mode system with the glyphosate causes compaction. There's your number one problem, citrus industry. It's not very hard to figure out. Anyway, I want to share what I have discovered in my experience. And I know that if you're listening, that you have a lot of the same beliefs and feelings, and I wanted to just get it out there because all that other crap is out there, so why not have this be out there too? Okay, I got carrots and cilantro, some fire ants. I don't know what these are. There's some green. Maybe those are the broccoli, the flowering broccoli. I don't know. We got some really, really, really strong rain last night. Like, I don't know, it sounded stronger than anything I've ever heard before. It could have just been because I was asleep, but I think it's pretty important to have a living cover to protect the sand here in Florida. I mean, the trees that have been here the longest, they all have plants in their rhizosphere growing right up to the tree, growing in the tree. a whole concept of the plants competing with each other is completely ridiculous. It's an anthropogenic information which to grow plants, which of course is going to be wrong. For growing, they just completely ignore that manure is used to grow plants. It's just like we co-evolved that way. And to just completely ignore that in organic systems is crazy. You can do it with a market garden with little annuals, but tropical fruit trees, it requires a lot more thought. The roots go deeper. The soil affects the tree's growth. So I had a subscriber, Ryan C., ask about our seed-grown mangoes and whether or not the seeds I plant are going to be true to type or their own unique profile. Well, I know from experience that trees planted in different parts of our property of the same type are completely different flavor than trees planted in different areas where the soil isn't the same or they haven't gotten the same inputs. So I'm for sure all trees are different, but depending on their rhizosphere, how different they become can be expressed. So their genotype, their phenotype is the expression of the genes. Today's plants are only grown at 15% of their abilities. So the seeds that you inoculate with biological input like compost, tea, or even raw zebu manure and soil or something like that, or a mix of all three. Soil from around your best mango tree, your healthiest mango tree. Dust the seeds with that and then plant them. So the rhizosphere of your plant is in charge of how good your fruit is going to taste and whether or not your trees will produce a lot of fruit, bloom a lot, be able to survive drought, be able to survive cold. They're in charge of everything. When I first started out, they said you couldn't even grow organic here in Florida. It was impossible. They'd mentioned some person, Carlos. I guess that's CT Miami, but he said you can't do it. So, okay, that's... Even though nobody's ever done it before. So you're taking advice from a chemical farmer on how to grow organically. A failed organic farmer in Florida that switched to chemicals. Well, I'm not a failed grower. I think that's pretty obvious. I like to know why and how things work and share them to try to fix Florida's pollution problems caused by agriculture here. The little cacao is doing good. I don't even have to water cacao here. Couldn't grow that, I was told when I moved here. Can't do it. So, now that we've learned all these different things, It's our job to read up on them. Rhizosphere engineering. And formulate your own plan to grow organically. Because no single way is right. We're all right. But I do know that using all available organic methods, like biodynamics, organic, Indian natural farming, Korean natural farming, and creating your own set of inputs. You don't have to follow them precisely. That's just one person's way that they did it. It doesn't mean it's the perfect way. It means that you should do it also and create your own. I know this year I buried moringa in horn, so I'm making a moringa biodynamic prep, I guess is what it's considered. Just powdered moringa buried for 6 months in the ground. Now a lot of times this horn is going to be completely submerged, though it is the drought season right now, but we got lots and lots of Monstera deliciosa fruit. It's going to be ready in about June. Anxious to try this. This plant doesn't even need water here. None of these fruit trees need to be watered. They really don't need any input at this point. Probably a continuation of small amounts of cow manure would be suggested, because that's what I'm gonna. Cows crap every day, so I have cow crap every day. I use it year-round. I swear by it. It's the single best input I've ever discovered. We can manipulate the rhizosphere of the plant through manipulation of the the manure that the cow is producing through its feed. So making a tea of the super healthiest mango tree you have with some moringa and putting a little bit in the cow water every day would probably be beneficial for your mango trees as an input. There's stuff that has not been done and needs to be done. And people need to make up their own ways of growing organically and stop trying to dominate everything and everyone. That's what it all comes down to. We dominate everything. We dominate our spaces, which ruins the rhizosphere of the plant. Anyway, this is Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm, and that's my little talk on rhizosphere engineering to be plant enabling, provide all its nutrient needs. Have a good day.